Hello again, DW, the Leadership Wrangler, right here at Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development. What I want to talk to you about today is, well, what makes a great leader? You see, over and over, people say, hey, Dick, tell me, you're always talking about leadership. Well, what does that mean? Well, leadership is just more than a word. Leadership is action. But there's some things that go along with it that I believe you need to know and maybe strive for in your world. First of all, great leaders share information. Great leaders are always reading and doing resourcing and finding out information. They're always going the extra mile, finding out as much as they can about what's going on in their world and what's going on around them. Then the great leaders share that information with all those around them. So each and every person can be on the same page, learn the same information, and then they can share it with other people themselves. This is one of those attributes that really make a great leader. Another thing that makes a great leader, well, I have to tell you, to me, great leaders look for the best in everyone in their organization. And they look for all those little wins that happen to all of us as individuals, and they celebrate them with everyone. It's not just, him or her who is the leader gets all the accolades and all the credit. A great leader is always feels it's not about them, it's about everyone else. Now, great leaders also respect people's time. They know two things. One, those folks come to work and they hope they loved working with you, but they also have a life totally outside of that world. And respecting their time is, I believe, one of the most important things that we as great leaders need to understand. For myself, I have to tell you, I worked with some really good people and really great leaders, and they understood for me what was most important was doing things with my family. Being a Cub Scout leader and a Scout master and church youth group leader, those things were super important to me. Taking my family on vacations and those kind of things. And having a leader that understood that many times, almost all the time, I put my family first and then I put the company. That doesn't mean I didn't give the company 100% every day when I was there. It means that the leader understood that I had a total another life outside of those walls that we were in. Great leaders are empathetic. You see, they can listen closely to find out what's going on in your life and empathize and try to find ways to be of service and help. That's a great leader. Great leaders say thank you. You know, it amazes me that when I look at the leadership in the world and I take and don't hear them say thank you to all the people that make it happen, I really kind of struggle with that. So great leaders say thank you, because I'll tell you what, without the people around them, they couldn't be great leaders. It just makes sense, doesn't it? Now, great leaders never forget where they came from either. Most great leaders that I know came up from the bottom, worked their way to the top, and they never forgot where they started. When I tell people the stories about starting out as a lineman, digging holes and climbing poles, and now I write books and speak on stage, they oftentimes go, wow, how'd you get there? Well, it's been a long journey. But what I'm trying to explain to you is great leaders really understand and remember where they came from. Or as my grandpa would say, remember your raisins, boy, because that's really going to be important. Great leaders are great communicators. And I don't just mean being able to stand and deliver. They communicate in almost every manner. Sometimes it's nonverbal. Most times it is. The thing about communications is you'd think that that would be the easiest part of everyone's job in today's world. I mean, by golly, we got cell phones, we've got computers, we've got, LinkedIn, you just name it. We're connected with somebody somewhere 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's always there. But great leaders know when to speak and when not to. And that's a part of communication that really works. The other part of communication is this: great leaders are good listeners. You'll find that great leaders listen more than they speak. You'll find that them are always looking to find out what's going on with you and how they can be of help and service. Great listening takes really time. And so many times I run into leaders that say, well, I just don't have time to listen to that stuff. Just give me the bare bones. Well, many times, a lot of situations and problems and opportunities are solved just by letting the other person explain what's going on and get it off their chest. So listening is a great skill. Great leaders grow other leaders. Great leaders really, they believe in their people so much that they understand that in order to take and continue, they need to build and accelerate that growth of the people around them so they can lead themselves, because that's the ticket. That's the secret to the mix here. You can't lead yourself. You sure as the devil can't lead anyone else. And so that's a learned opportunity. Great leaders are consistent. They're the same whether they're on the golf course, they're at the fishing hole, or they're at dinner with their family, or they're at the boardroom. And they're the same. They believe in civil discourse. And by that, I mean, they can have a disagreement with someone. It can even get kind of heated in loud voices. But civil discourse calls for things at the end that we're all going to walk away friends, and we're all going to walk away with, boy, I better think about that some more. Maybe I did learn something while I was listening to what they had to say. So great leaders do that. Another thing about great leaders, I have to tell you that they do this, they do it well. They're punctual. They're on time. I always struggle with a leader who is 5 minutes late and wants everyone else there on time. You have to be consistent in everything you do to be a great leader. So be consistent and punctual. And the other thing about great leaders, they network constantly. No matter where they're at, they're always networking. They're always looking and listening and having that conversation to find the very best of the best to come and be with them. You see, that's part of being a great leader. Now, as we went through these, I hope you listened to some of the things and saw yourself that you were doing well in a lot of those categories. But if you saw yourself not doing really well in those categories, that's something to work on. And that's okay. You see, none of us get this way overnight. And I have to admit to it, I still make mistakes. And there are times I have to go back and be really, really truthful and say, man, I'm sorry, I screwed up. That's the part of being a great leader. Being able to take your own medicine. But when things don't go right, it's usually at the top. I used to always tell everybody, you could come in my office and complain about anything, as long as you had an answer to it. And many times I would let them go with it and see if it worked, because golly, they were a lot smarter than I was. That's what makes a great leader. Surrounding yourself with great people and knowing it and helping them go and do what the things they need to do. Becoming a great leader does not happen overnight. These are little things that happen every day. And we who have struggled and strive to be that are still learning. So I'm going to encourage you to keep on going. The ongoing continuous learning part is a sign of a great leader. There's so much here that I could never cover in a short time that I've been allotted to take and talk to you today. But I'll tell you what, if you are ready to learn and you want to learn more, contact us at the website, ewfw.org. And if you want to send me a direct email, go ahead and do it, dick@ewfw.org. And I won't mind at all. I won't even mind if you give me a phone call, 727-422-1833, and we'll help you walk through our best-selling book, How Not to Lose Your Bass in Business. And make sure you say that right so I don't get in trouble, okay? Well, this has been Dick Powell here at the Leadership Wrangler, home of Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training Development. And I hope that you learned something today and that you can take it away and share it with someone else. See you later. Ride hard, ride fast.